Hello and good evening. Welcome to this express webinar on choosing a Dengie feed in conjunction with Wadswick Country Store. This evening, we're just going to have a look at some of the Dengie products that will be available. I'm sure, like many people at this time of year, you're perhaps thinking about making some alterations to your Dengie feeds. And when you go into a wonderful store like Wadswick, you're probably completely overwhelmed by the feed selection that's available, not least the number of products that are in the Dengie range. So the aim of this evening, whilst we are going to be a little bit scant on detail because it is an express webinar, is just to point you in the right direction if you are thinking about making some changes to your horse's ration this winter or at any other stage for that matter. So in terms of what influences feed choice, there are a number of factors involved. First and foremost, your own preference for ingredients, and that would actually also include your horse's preference as well, so their palatability preference based on previous experience. Your horse's body weight or ability to maintain weight and their workload will also influence your feed choice. Not only that, your horse may have some specialist dietary requirements or considerations that we also need to consider when choosing the most appropriate ration for them. So looking at the types of ingredients that are in the Dengie products, the ingredients that we use the most are fibre. We are a fibre-based feeding company, so all of our products have fibre at the top of the ingredients list. And there are actually three main types of fibre that you will find within our horse feeds. So we've got alfalfa, grasses and straw. Now, as a company, Dengie have been growing alfalfa in excess of 50 years now and incorporating it into horse feed products, so we are the alfalfa specialists. Alfalfa is a legume. It's related to the pea and bean family, and for that reason it's a very, very digestible fibre source for the horse, so it's very good for fueling working horses. Although it's quite high energy, it actually has very low levels of sugar and starch, which means it's quite suitable for horses that may have a requirement for a low sugar and starch diet. More recently, we've also been adding some grass-based products to the range. Naturally, grass is much higher sugar than alfalfa, which means it's incredibly palatable, but may actually be less suitable for those that require a low sugar ration. When it comes to feeding alfalfa, it is naturally high in certain nutrients. So it's naturally high in nutrients like protein, particularly the good quality protein lysine, and also calcium as well. And its calcium and protein content are thought to be some of the things that make it quite a good buffer to acidity in the horse's digestive tract, much more so than other fibre sources. Being a rich source of lysine, alfalfa is also particularly useful for the performance horse and also breeding stock that may have a higher requirement than the leisure horse as well, compared to just grass. Both the alfalfa and grasses that we grow and produce ourselves are precision dried. So they undergo a precision drying process post-harvest to allow us to store them. Not only does it allow us to store them, but the drying process also produces a very clean source of forage, making it ideal for the performance horse where respiratory health is key. The other main fibre that goes into our feeds is straw. Now, straw is fantastic because it's much less digestible and therefore much lower in energy. It's also low sugar and low starch. So all in all, straw is a really useful fibre source for good doers of the world and horses that maintain their weight in ease. Much lower level than nutrients than the other fibre sources, which means we can actually use straw to dilute the alfalfa and grasses that go into our other products. So with some products you might find that they're pure alfalfa based, whereas some products might be a combination of alfalfa and straw or alfalfa and grasses, and equally we might have products that combine all three materials, and it's up to you which you choose within the range as being most suitable to your horse. We do also have some additional fibre sources in the range that are used in much smaller amounts. So we have unmolashed sugar beet that goes into Dengie Alpha Beet, and also pea whole fibre, which is a new addition in the Meadow Light with herbs. The other main ingredient on our feeds is coatings. So the coatings that we tend to use the most are molasses and rapeseed oil. And also more recently, we've introduced some linseed oil on the new Meadow Light with herbs. We use a coating on the majority of our feeds because with the precision drying process, the alfalfa leaf or the grass leaf can actually shatter, which is the smaller bitty parts that you see within your feed bag. The use of a coating helps to disperse those through the product so they just don't all collect at the bottom of the feed bag. When the products were first launched more than 50 years ago, products like the Alpha Original and Hi-Fi Original were coated with molasses. This was used as it's readily available, and also it's a valuable energy source to the horse as well. Not only that, but horses undoubtedly find molasses very tasty. So you can still find molasses on some of the feed products that we produce today. For those that prefer not to have a molasses feed, then most of our other feeds will contain rapeseed oil or rapeseed and linseed oil, in the case with Meadow Light with herbs. And actually 12 of the 20 feed products that we produce are now unmolassed. If you would prefer a molasses-free feed, simply look for the no added sugar logo on our feed bags to help you identify which of our products are molasses-free. We do have a few products that don't have any coating at all. So pure grass pellets, alfalfa pellets and alpha beet actually have no coating on them, full stop, and are very simple in their formulation. So in addition to the types of ingredients in the feed, you may also be concerned with your horse's ability to maintain their weight and how much work they're doing, particularly at this time of year when the winter means some individuals might need a bit more help to maintain their weight, or other individuals might be doing less work than they usually would. So we'd usually be looking for a diet change. On this screen here, we've got all of the Dengie products that we would suggest are suitable for those that don't hold their weight very well or that are in moderate work and above. So these products on this screen are all higher calorie fibre feeds. Just to highlight a couple of the super products, if you like, we have Alpha A oil, which is our most conditioning fibre feed at 12.5 megajoules. So that's equivalent to a conditioning mix or cube in its calorie level, but it has 10 times less starch. So a really conditioning product, but coming from fibre. Another super product on that slide is Dengie Alpha Beet. That can be combined with any other product from the Dengie range, and Alpha Beet is a combination of alfalfa and unmolassed sugar beet. Again, they're both very digestible fibre sources, so are useful for feeding alongside any of the other products to help boost calorie intake and also for palatability purposes as well. If you have a fussy feeder and the Alpha A oil being naturally bitter doesn't appeal to your horse, then it might be worth looking at products such as Performance Fibre, Cool Condition and Shine, or Meadow Grass with herbs and oil, which aren't too dissimilar in their calorie level, but do have much more sweetness about them, so may be more tempting. If conversely your horse is a good doer or an overweight individual, or at rest or in light work, then you want to be kind of down with the lower calorie products in the Dengie range. So this includes things like the Hi-Fi range of fibre feeds, including our new Christmas special Hi-Fi Original Cinnamon Spice that you may have more recently seen in store. Just to highlight another product on this page, Dengie Meadow Light with herbs is our newest addition to the Dengie range, and at 5 megajoules per kilo digestible energy, it is now the lowest calorie feed that we have in the Dengie range. That makes it absolutely fantastic for overweight horses or those that hold their weight really easily, because we can provide them with plenty of chew time but with minimal calories. That can be particularly useful if, for example, you only have haylage available on your yard and need to look for an alternative ration for those individuals. Meadow Light with herbs is predominantly straw, but we've got some other ingredients in there to make it really tasty as well. So if you've previously found that straw-based products haven't been that palatable, then Meadow Light with herbs is certainly worth a try. Looking at those horses with special dietary considerations, last year on the Dengie Feed line, we had about 4,000 calls and emails to us asking for our advice. Beyond weight management, other top reasons for calling us or contacting us included things like equine gastric ulcer syndrome, laminitis, forage replacers and poor dentition. And I have to say that's a particularly hot topic on the feed line right now. So given that many people are contacting us for these reasons, there's bound to be some of you out there that might be interested in those types of products as well. So just to help you narrow down your choice, we will look at each of those in turn. So starting with equine gastric ulcer syndrome. When you're looking at the feed products within the Dengie range, or indeed out of the side of the Dengie range, have a look for the British Equestrian Trade Association feed approval mark. This particular feed approval mark identifies products as suitable for equines prone to gastric ulcer syndrome as part of a balanced diet. And we have 4 products within our range that contain this approval mark. So we've got Healthy Tummy, Alpha A oil and Performance Fibre that are all high calorie options, and Ulcer Light that is a lower calorie option. As I say, this is an independent feed approval mark, so these feeds have undergone intense scrutiny to be approved to this scheme, and you can look for this logo on any products within the feed store outside of the Dengie range as well to help you narrow down what might be suitable. Of these products, Ulcer Light is the newest feed in the range, and we developed this feed because we recognise that not all horses with equine gastric ulcer syndrome were lean or in hard work. And in fact, a number of people that contact us have horses that are perhaps overweight or not doing very much work at all and still have ulcers. So for those individuals, we wanted to develop a feed that was really low calorie, that they could feed lots of to keep their horse on maximum chew time. Now, there's lots of misinformation regarding gastric ulcers available on the web and a lot of confusion. If you'd like some more details and specific information regarding gastric ulcers, do take a look at the Dengie website because we have got a lot of information on there. 2 articles that I particularly point you towards are Can I Feed Chopped Alfalfa to Horses with Ulcers, and Is Straw Suitable to Feed to Horses with Ulcers as well. Just in the search box, if you just type either alfalfa or straw, those articles should come up for you to take a look at. Another common problem is laminitis, equine metabolic syndrome, and pituitary pars intermedia dysfunction. And those horses also require a specialised feeding regime, particularly one that is low sugar and low starch. Again, we have some logos on pack that can make it easier to identify feeds that are suitable. So we invest in the Laminitis Trust, and Hi-Fi Light has been approved by the Laminitis Trust for many years, as well as Healthy Who's molasses free. So you can easily identify that those 2 products are suitable. The money that we pay to have our food approved by the Laminitis Trust on these products goes towards funding research into laminitis that they carry out. On the on the Hi-Fi molasses free, we also have the Green Cross logo. Now, this logo is slightly different and it carries an endorsement by another charity called the Laminitis Site. The Laminitis Site provide lots of education to horse owners and also help work with horse owners who have laminitis prone individuals, and that's a product that fits very nicely into their recommendations. Having said that, although we have these 2 logos on some of our products, that doesn't mean that our other feeds aren't suitable. And you can actually make your own choices when you go to the feed store about suitability of products for individuals prone to laminitis. Generally, you want to look for feeds with less than 10% sugar and starch added together. So those feeds are likely to be cereal grain free and also low or no molasses as well. As you can see, we have got a whole host of products within the Dengie range shown on this screen that are suitable for laminitis prone individuals. And again, not all laminitis prone individuals will be overweight. So it's just as important that we have some higher calorie offerings in our range that are suitable for them. So Alpha A oil down to Alpha A Light would be the products that you're looking for, that those don't hold their weight so well, and Healthy Hooves down to Meadow Light with herbs are more for those that are overweight or good doers and need a low sugar and starch diet. Again, looking at the Dengie website, if you have a look under the laminitis and good doer section of the website, you will find our weight management and laminitis guide that's full of really useful information and advice. You can probably also pick this up in Wadswick Country Store as well. Lastly, we're having a look at total forage replacers. So within the Dengie range, we have a number of products that can either partially or totally replace a forage ration. Now, you may need to do this for your horse's diet if they've got older and they have smooth or worn and missing teeth that makes it much more difficult for them to chew long stem forage. Equally, you may need a forage replacer on years where the hay or haylage harvest hasn't been as good as it normally would be. I know there was some concerns earlier this year with many people getting to their forage harvest much later than normal. So if you have a need, all of these products on the screen here can be used as total forage replacements. For the veteran horse that's starting to struggle to chew hay or haylage, start with a short chop fibre to see if they can manage that a little bit more easily, and invariably they can. But unfortunately, there will become a stage where they can't even manage short chops and may alternatively need an entirely soaked ration, which is where something like the pure grass pellets come in. Again, there's many differences between these individual products, and first and foremost, you're probably going to be looking for the types of ingredients that they contain according to your preferences. You may also look at the energy level, so if you've got something that's underweight or a poor doer, again, the pure grass products are going to be useful, but if you have an individual that holds weight really easily, then you're going to be down more in the Hi-Fi range or the Meadow Light or the Ulcer Light as a forage replacer for those individuals. Again, you may have to think about the level of sugar and starch in those particular products. And if you have laminitis prone individuals, then Ulcer Light, Hi-Fi Light and Meadow Light with herbs are generally the more appropriate options. So whilst there are lots of decisions that you need to make when you're choosing your feed, remembering those three things can help you narrow down your choices. Now, when you're in the feed store, there is some information that you can look at to help you again further narrow down your choices and actually find out what's in the product. Now, you will find lots of information on the front and the back of the pack, compiled both by the marketing and the nutrition team to tell you as much as possible about the product and to attract you to it. If you want to know what's in our chopped fibre feeds, you only need to look on the side of the bag. On the side of the bag, there's a white box, and printed within that white box, you will see some information about the composition of the product and the analytical composition as well. So you can see what's in that feed. When you look at an ingredients list of the product, the ingredient that's at the top of the list is the one that's included in the greatest amount. So in this product, which is alpha A oil, it's alfalfa and then rapeseed oil are the two ingredients in that feed. So you can find out a lot of useful information on the bag. If you're at home and thinking what to feed your horse, then again, there's lots of information available on the Dengie website. And on each individual product page, you will find the ingredients and nutritional information on a drop-down menu. So click on that drop-down menu and hopefully you'll find all of the information that you need about what's in the feed. This information is also available in our product guides. And again, you can pick those up from Wadswick Country Store. Lastly, we are here to help. So if you have any questions about your horse's diet, you're not sure where to go within the Dengie range, please either drop us an email or give us a call and we will do our best to guide you and help you to make a decision.